Hey guys, what is going on? This is Pantsar Dragon, and today we'll be doing a little video on the top 5 AD carries for patch 6.11. Now, the last time we did this tier list was in patch 6.10. Lucian has been nerfed and I've discovered a new champion, actually two, and I just want to do a little update to the tier list. Also, you guys are probably wondering, where does Lucian place with all the nerfs he received in this patch? So, just a little update and we're just going to talk about it. Also, this tier list is going to be more of a personal opinion than like say a popular opinion, so it's definitely going to be somewhat pretty different. Also, this video is sponsored by Pro Guides. Check them out for all your rank game needs. There's also a new Chatterbait section you can talk to people and get some answers from. Anyways, with all that being said, let's get started. Alright, so again, this is going to be more of a personal tier list and, more influenced by what I'm kind of seeing everywhere. And first up is going to be Misfortune. I think Misfortune is actually a really good champion and could be placed higher if a lot more people started playing her. But at the moment, people are playing other champions that you'll see in this tier list. But to me, Misfortune with a new BBC build plus a bunch of armor penetration seems to be really strong. Like her ultimate with the Black Cleaver shreds armor really easily and can definitely help your team on doing more physical damage. And also her ultimate does a crap ton of damage if the enemy sits in it, as she does have massive AD ratios on her ultimate. And I think, people were building crit on her before instead of emphasizing her AD ratios, so now I can definitely see her being a contender for the top 3 spot. But I feel like we're gonna have to wait a little more time because she's not too popular at the moment, but I've definitely seen some people play her with the new BBC build, and to me, I think it's just really strong on her. So I'm going to put her at number 5. I was going to put her in honorable mentions, but again, this is going to be more of a personal tier list than anything. She's definitely a champion in my champion pool at the moment if I have to play the AD carry role. Alright, so here is going to be the recommended build for her, and yes, that is a Duskblade you're looking at. And the reason I think you buy the Duskblade is because you want the AD and the armor penetration, and also Duskblade actually gives more AD than an Infinity Edge, plus it's actually cheaper. But yeah, just emphasize on the armor penetration and you're good to go. Alright, so coming at number 4 is going to be Caitlyn. Alright, so from my experiences when I see this champion and, playing her, I definitely feel like she can carry a game if she gets ahead, because first off, she is very safe in the sense that she has an escape with her E, has a lot of traps to defend herself with, and also just has really good damage. Like, one thing that boggled my mind on how she had a really good late game and mid game was that even though she has one of the lowest base attack speeds in the game, her headshot mechanic actually scales with crit chance and crit damage. So when you have a Rune-Ons and you can stack your passive really fast, you'll actually be doing a lot of damage. And also she has a pretty good range, so that's really nice in the late game. But the one thing I really hate about her, especially when I'm facing her, is her traps. Those things are fucking annoying. Like, say if you're trying to siege the enemy and Caitlyn just puts down like 5 traps on her border, well, now you can't really step across the border because you're gonna get shot and take a lot of damage. Even tanks will take a lot of damage as well. And yeah, the only way to get around sieging her border is you have to go to another lane and then hope to god that you have 2 lanes pushing in, so you can go to another lane and just siege the tower. Now when she's sieging with the traps, you can't get to her because you don't want to walk through her traps. So yeah, she's actually really good on the offense and defense, and yeah, she's a bitch. Anyways, here's the recommended build for her. If you want, you can go like the double Zeal build and, get more crit chance, but in my opinion, I just hate attack speed on her because her base attack speed is really low. Next up, we're going to be talking about Lucio, and in this patch he got nerfed by having his Q's bonus AD ratio get lowered, and the range on his W and Q have been lowered as well. Although they are somewhat small nerfs, he is still a good champion, but in my opinion, I'd say not number 1 anymore. I feel like right now he's a number 3. He could be lower to be honest, but people are still playing him, people are still doing well with him, and he's still a very popular champion, and I will admit that the BBC build on him was actually pretty OP, and these nerfs were definitely needed. But now he's not OP, and he's actually in a decent spot right now. Caitlyn might be higher than him, but from what I've seen, he is still more popular than Caitlyn at the moment. Now, here is the build for him. But I think the way to go is Berserker's Greaves now, because the attack speed on Berserker's Greaves did get buffed by 5%, and a lot more AD carries are using it right now. And next up at number 2 is going to be Ezreal. So with Lucio being nerfed, and Ezreal not being nerfed, and Lucian being a rank higher in the last tier list, it's almost guaranteed that since he got nerfed, Ezreal will be a better champion than him at the moment. But one thing I never said was that in the mid-season update, he actually got a buff. Because the Tear of the Goddess, it has a 20% less mana cost on it now, and people like it when their mana costs are lower. So, you know, it's a little buff that I didn't really notice that happened to Ezreal, but yeah, everyone's actually using this champion, especially people who don't AD carry. And you know, I was actually talking a little bit to Apollo, but he says that the only reason AD carries like Lucian, Ezreal, and Caitlyn are at the top is because they have escapes, and apparently the meta doesn't really favor immobile champions too much like Jinx and all that. So you need an escape to deal with champions like Swain, Vladimir, etc. Otherwise you can easily be caught out. And that's why all the pros and challenger players are using these champions. Although I'm more of a linear thinker and think, hey, this champion is just straight up OP, so I'm gonna play him. Of course, that is also another factor on how metas are made. Anyways, Ezreal is someone who has a lot of escapes due to his E being reset by his Q, and he also likes touching people with his Q. Alright, let's go on to the build. So here's going to be the recommended build. I don't like the Blade of Ruin King, but I do see like a lot of pros are using this. But me, preferably, I'd go for a Bloodthirster. And coming in at number 1 is going to be Ashe. This is why I said it was going to be more of a personal tier list, because a lot of people won't agree that Ashe is number 1. But Ashe, I cannot say that she is not number 1, because in all ELOs, her win rates are really high. Like, she may not be the most popular pick, and contradicts what I said about the AD carry meta, but yeah, she's actually like a really powerful AD carry right now. Do I know why? Fuck no. I can't explain why she's good, because it does contradict everything I said about the AD carry meta. But if we ignore that contradiction and just talk about how I feel about her, well, first off, Bloodrazor Ashe in jungle really sucks, don't try it. But how I felt about her Q was that it was up pretty often. Like, if you remember Ashe from Season 5, her Q didn't really come up too often. Like, it was on an active and had an 18-second cooldown, but this one, all you have to do to get the cooldown back up is auto attack 4 times and you can activate it again. So yeah, the duration on your Q lasts for about 4 seconds. And once the active is gone, you just have to auto attack 4 times again and it's back up. Also, she brings a lot of utility, especially her ultimate, which is actually really good for making picks. Her E is good for scouting out the enemy jungler, and her slow becomes 50% when she's max level, which is actually really powerful. So yeah, even if she is behind, she's still going to be useful since she provides so much utility for her team. But if she is ahead, she will also be doing a lot of damage, you know, due to her superpower mode coming from her Q. Also, if I ever do fail as bot lane AD carry, you know which champion I'm going to be looking at, and that's going to be Ashe, because she is a really easy AD carry to play. But also, she is immobile, so you have to watch out for dirty assassins and people who can gap close easily. But also, I feel like the assassin meta is kind of dying, so you might be seeing more Ashe and Misfortune. And when I say assassins, I just mean sticky shit like Echo and Fizz. Except Fizz is number 1 in top lane right now, but he is getting nerfed in the next patch. Alright, here's a recommended build for her. And you definitely want to go Runon's Hurricane, as it does make your Q look like you're doing a bunch of shit. Alright, so we're going to be doing some honorable mentions, and first up is going to be Jhin. You know, this champion actually has a new build, and you know he'd probably be number 5 if it wasn't for my hard-on for Misfortune. And yeah, he's actually got a new build where he goes armor penetration and AD, not Black Cleaver, but like Ghostblade and shit. It's really weird, and I kind of want to show you guys what this new build is, but I'm not sure if this build is better than the old build as you see in this video. So there's this build, and yeah, people are just going straight up AD and armor penetration, and apparently it's doing wonders. But yeah, right now he's a good AD carry for sure. There's definitely a lot of AD carries to choose from. For instance, a champion called Twitch is also a champion who has been appearing in my games in solo queue at the moment, and also has a decent win rate in all ELOs, but is very unpopular, I'd say. Like, he's definitely really good at roaming mid and maybe getting a kill, and obviously really good at cleaning up due to the marksman changes he has received to his Q. And also Runon's Hurricane is good on him because it gives crit now, instead of, you know, way before season 6, it used to give only attack speed, which is something he didn't really care too much about. But yeah, in my opinion, I wouldn't say sleeper OP, I'd say more just sleeper. Anyways, here's the build for him. You know, pretty cool, but not really. Alright, next honorable mention is going to be Sivir. You know, I actually think she's a really good champion. I think her scaling into the late game is incredible due to the crits coming from her W, but she just didn't quite make the cut for the top 5. I'm sorry to say that, but I definitely feel like there are better champions, and you can definitely argue that she deserves to be in the top 5. I just have a big hard-on for Misfortune. Now here's a recommended build for her. Alright, so we're going to be doing a segment where I answer questions that you guys asked from my last AD carry tier list, and Danny Kishi asked, talk about Draven please. You know, I think he just got banned from League of Legends and still streams it and just spectates people, but I'm not sure. Next up, Black Mars 0 asks, so how would you play Urgot as AD carry? Pants. I don't know how I'd answer this to be honest, but I think you just buy a Manamune and press E and Q. And then you press R if you want to go all missionary on them. Alright, so next up, Maritz asks, what about Callista? Alright, so I'm going to be going on a little rant, but it feels so stupid that all the pros kept playing her after the nerfs she has received, and now she's just like gone. But you know, the nerfs, they just look so bad for her. And I mean, I saw the win rate on her drop super heavily, but took a while for the pros to realize this, and yeah, feels kind of dumb. Oh well, that's the end of my rant, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to ask, you know, just general questions about AD carry, make sure to comment below on whatever your questions are for AD carries. Anyways, if you guys did like this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you didn't, make sure to blah 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 blah. Anyways, I am Pastor Dragon, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey, what is up, guys? It's your host, Keller Keemstar. Let's get right into the news.